Welcome, welcome, welcome to Canvas Tips and Tricks. I'm so happy to have my live audience with us today. But if you are watching on YouTube, you do not get the CEU, CLU certificate that you'll hear me talking about, but you do get the knowledge. So welcome. And right under the video where the description goes, if you click show more, you'll see the resource for this session. So yay you. So let's hop in. I am Dr. Desiree Alexander. I am the founder, CEO of Educator Alexander Consulting, and I'm the host of this session. So you can follow me on Twitter at Educator Alex. I am happy to see what you're doing and all that good stuff. So follow me, I follow you back. On all other social media, I'm Educator Alexander. And of course, you can go to my website and follow my YouTube channel and all of that good stuff. These are some of the upcoming free webinars that we have. So today we had 2 webinars and you're here for one of them, or maybe you're here for both of them, but aren't you lucky? So in September, we also have Nadine. If you're not following Nadine on Twitter, you are just missing out. She puts together the most amazing content and gives it away for free. So she's going to be coming to talk about teaching digitally. And then we have the amazing Sarah. So many of my audience know Sarah. She's done so many webinars for us. And she's going to come back and do intro to Wakelet. If you haven't ridden the wave yet, you want to come back for that one. All of these you can register for on the same website. That's why I go through them pretty quickly. You see the websites at the bottom. Go there, register. And then Sarah's the only one doing a webinar in October. October's pretty busy, but she's the only one doing a webinar on the intro to Wii videos. So if you want to learn that, come back to us on Halloween. Come get scary with us, I guess. I don't know. I didn't have anything prepared for that one. And then we have November. In November, we have Nadine coming on back, talking about tech abilities for struggling readers who want to make sure that we're inclusive when we're talking about technology. And then we have the mindful and amazing Tanya. And Tanya is actually going to be doing a series for us next semester all about mindfulness and different things you can do for mindfulness in the classroom. So she's kind of kicking that off right before the holidays with Mastering Mindfulness for Educators. And I have so many free things to put on the website, like TCCA is coming up and a whole bunch of really free virtual events. I'm just not there yet. They'll all be on there next week. But one that I do have on there is the virtual ed camp for Louisiana. You don't have to be in Louisiana to enjoy this ed camp because it's virtual and it's free. So sign up for that. And we will have an evaluation at the end. Of course, that's only for my people that are watching us live. If you're just coming in live, the evaluation will be posted 15 minutes before the session ends. So that 1 through 5, that's housekeeping right now, is going to change at the end. And you'll see number 1 will be the evaluation. So this is just for my people who are watching us live. So what I'm going to do at this time is I'm going to stop sharing my screen so Ruth can share hers. And I'm going to throw that 1 through 5 back in the chat because I see we have more people that have come in. So that's at 1 through 5. You can see the link that Ruth wanted to share with us for Canvas. And I know you're sitting there going, Desiree, be quiet. We want to hear Ruth. And you are correct. So I'm going to be quiet. And Ruth, thank you so much. And take it away.
Good afternoon. I always forget to unmute myself. How's everybody doing today? I'm East Coast. Sounds like almost everybody else is Central Time, but I'm East Coast and I've got a nasty day in Florida, believe it or not. So tips and tricks for Canvas. One of the things that I will tell you is Canvas across the board. I know I saw a couple of things. The reason why I was asking, what grade level is, Canvas is very different grade level wise. I originally started with LMSs at, believe it or not, the elementary school level, and then I graduated to the college level. But doing training and all, I still do elementary and high school levels. So keeping up with them is the fun part of this. So it's fun to go through and show you some of the tips and tricks. Now, as you see here, I've got a couple of my courses, and you know that when you get into Canvas, you see your dashboard. One of the things that I usually do, and I didn't on this one, is I usually put a picture on my course so that when the students open it up, they see a picture that corresponds with that course, right? And you can go into here, you can go into your course in your settings, and you can set the picture. And I try to make it something that is appropriate and matches the course. So like this one is a programming course that I put together. So when I go into my course, because you can get to it here and this is the thing, what I do too with my students, I will tell you at all levels, is I go through an orientation of how to get through my course. Always. I don't care whether they've had me before, I don't care anything. I always go through a navigation, but I always keep my courses, the navigation the same. So in my courses, I go into my course, and my programming course is set up in modules. And of course, you know that you can see all of your items here on the left-hand side, but your students can't. They can only see the items that you have, that you don't have the eyes on, right? So we can, you can go back and we can turn these on and off, right? And we can do these in our settings, right? So here's our settings. And this is where you can set your image. And like I said, I like to put something, so this would be programming, and a lot of this is scratch and make code, because I do block programming with my engineering kids. So that's what I put in here is, scratch and make code. So I'll put together some kind of a image that does a combination of those two for them, right? But you can also, you set your time zone, because I am not Mountain Time, right? And one of the things that I always do is I set my start date and I will set my end date. The reason why I do this is we always, come on guys, I get it, you get it. Always get your people that will pop in before school starts, right? So I always set my start date, and I always set it if school opens, like for us, school opened on the 31st, right? And our middle school doesn't start until, well, our middle school actually starts at 7:30 in the morning. So if I were teaching middle school, I would set this to start at, the 31st at 7:30 in the morning. But then I would close this. If I want it closed during the holidays, I would close it during the holidays so that they can't get in. And then I would reopen it, start it again when we come back from holidays. These are where you can set a lot of your different course settings, right? And I'm not changing anything, so I'm not going to go back to here, right? But so my home page for this one, because I have it set up in modules, you come in, you go to modules. I know that modules are a little hard for students when you open it up to see. So sometimes you can set it up this way where they come in, they see all the modules, right? Or you can set it up where they come in, and I'm going to go to my other class so you can see it, because I do it both ways. This is my staff training I'm working on. You can set it where it opens up to a page, but then they can go into the modules afterwards. This one, I know I don't have anything much in this one because I just started working on this, right? So you can set this up in multiple ways, because down here under this one, I got you guys at the bottom. Let me move you guys up here a minute. You can see that I have where to next. So I put some navigation down here for my students so they now know where I want them to go next. Just as a kind of a way of, where the navigation, the order that I think they should go, because when they go into and they see all of this at once, How many people have their students just click into everything and go, oh my God, look at all this stuff I have to do? Right? Don't they just click through everything and they don't watch any of it? Because mine do. So one thing you can do here, and this is an interesting trick, is when you go into your edit for here, you can lock this. And I do this a lot. Notice my scratch is set up in introduction, and then I move into different sections. So I lock my other sections so that it opens at a certain time. So they have to finish the section before they can go to this one. But you can also set requirements. So now they have to finish. First of all, they have to do this in sequential order. If they don't do this in sequential order, then they're not going to get what they need to out of this, and they're not going to be able to move to the next section and understand it. So that's what you can do here. And you can set this up in, first I want them to sign up for Scratch, right? And then they have to mark it as done before they can then go to the next one, which would be the Scratch videos. And if you have them mark it as done, then by doing this, yes, my requirements changed. And then when you go to your student view, you will see that now they have to mark that they finished this. See, it says mark done. So they cannot move on until they mark this as done. So it keeps them honest. It keeps them on the right track. And it keeps them in the order that you want them to go. You can import items. Has anybody used Commons? Anybody use the Commons? I don't have the chat going up, Desiree, so I'm hoping you do.
I do, and one person said no.
No, okay. Commons is, I like the Commons, and I'll tell you why. Because you do not have to recreate the wheel. So if you go to import from the Commons, and I said that my stuff was Scratch, so let me do Scratch, right? And I type in Scratch. There are 72 different things that have already been built. But the nice part about this is, and this isn't just your school, okay? This is across anybody that's using Canvas that wants to share it. So I have modules, I have quizzes, I have assignments, and so you can go through here and they even have just pages. So there are all kinds of different things that you can do here. Now, the nice part about this is, let me grab something here. I'm going to grab this final exam. So I'm going to grab this. And when you go into this is a final exam. You click import or download. You tell it where you want it to go. And then when I go back to my course, it's importing into my course. So now you have not recreated the wheel, and here is my final project that I just added in. It's nice because somebody else has created it. You can find a resource that goes with what you're working on. Obviously, you know it's educationally sound because we're all educators using this, right? You can also, one of the other things that I like to do with this is, in order to get your stuff to Commons, you have to import or export your content. The other thing I do is at the end of a semester or at the end of the school year, I always export a copy of my course and save it. And you're going to go here to import and export. And this shows you like that I've imported what I've imported. But I can go here and I can copy from one course to another. So if you have a course that you use this year and you want to use it again next year, you can go here and you can copy the course. And you tell it what you want to copy. So I want to copy programming. And then you tell it what you want to copy. You know, everything. You want to click specific things. You can tell it to adjust the dates and times or just leave the dates and times off. And then you can move the material from one course to another. Yes, a sandbox. I will tell you that was going to be my next tidbit, is a sandbox. Yes, I always set up one course that is, it's my play course. It's my sandbox, and I develop things in there first. And that's honestly, that's kind of what my staff training one is here, because I'm working on a staff training for a company. And so this is where I'm building out some of the modules for them first before I put it into their system. So yes, I do a sandbox, and I like sandboxes because it's not going to mess anything up with any of my courses. And yeah, it keeps everything much better. So yes, you can do the import export, and you can share. I mean, that other nice part about this is too, if you're working with a team, you know, you can develop a part of it. Somebody else in your team can develop another part of it. So it makes it easy to also share across teams, right? So you can also do your export package. And then it used to be that when a lot of people used Blackboard, you can move Blackboard stuff in and out, but a lot of people aren't using it. And the D2L and the Moodle are for people that are moving into Canvas from those. So if you are, you know that you can bring them in, right? Now, I am going to go back to here because one of the other things I am going to show you, because I know that this is one thing that everybody wants to know lately, right? My staff training, and I put this one in because I know that this is a biggie. Anybody tried using the Bitmoji classroom in their Canvas? Anybody having problems getting it where your links work? Because I know I get a lot of questions on this one. Okay, see, my links work.
We haven't had any responses yet, so I'm thinking no. But they love Bitmojis and they would love to learn, they said.
Oh, okay. Well, if you love them, and Desiree, if you want, like I can always do, this is like an hour unto itself, but I set my Bitmoji up. I do the picture in Google Draw, or, you know, I can do it in PowerPoint or however, and then I move it into, I'm going to go to here first so you can see it, right? So this is my drawing. I set everything up the way I want it in PowerPoint slides. I then go to a file, publish to the web. And I did put the instructions for the publish to the web part in the handout so that you have it. I go here to embed, and I leave it at medium because you're going to make a change to it. I change this to every minute. I do start and restart, and then I hit the publish button. This is already published, so I'm not going to do that, but that's what I do here. When I go back to here, the secret to this is when you go into your edit to bring it in, 9 times out of 10, we try to bring this in as, well, you're not actually giving Bitmoji control to your keyboard, because what you're doing is you're making a Google slide, and you're just using those pictures on your Google slide. So your Bitmoji is not controlling your keyboard. I use my Bitmoji as a picture, not as to control anything. So I use it more as an interactive. I set them up as interactive classrooms. Is really what I do. So like I just did a class for, I've been teaching with OutSchool for the summer, and I did a class with my students on Windows 10. And I did it as like a Bitmoji scavenger hunt for them on the different things they learned and how to get to it. This one is for my my class that teaches how to use email, calendars, and reminders. And I was sat on this one too long. Okay, so let me go back to my first page here. So in the way I did this so that all of my links work is when I go up to edit, instead of doing it in as a link, yes, it would be like, it would be an interactive header too. I go in and I insert it as media. And then you do it as embed and you put your code in. The secret to it is when you put your embed code in, wait, I got to look at my notes because I always have to look at my numbers, right? When you put the embed code in, you have to change the slide size. So in the embed code in here, you will see the slide size. Let me go back, wait a minute, let me grab it. I'm gonna publish, yes. So here in your embed code, it gives you a width of 960 and a height of 749. So you have to change this to 780 and 440. And I did put that in the handout. So then when you change this and you copy it over, copy and paste it over to your canvas, then you save it, and then it isn't interactive. It makes it interactive. So my links work. So this will take you out to my Gmail. And this one will take you out to my OneNote. And then this one takes you to the About Me slide. And I hit the button too fast, but. And then the other one, the one that says click here is my instructions. Yes, it's in the handout. So the Bitmoji itself on this is not controlling, it's more the Google Slides. So this is the Google Slide piece. So I just use the Bitmoji more as the pictures and all in the Google Slides. And that's how I get this to work. It's more as a media than anything else. And the biggest secret, honestly, is using it as embed. Okay, questions? So far, so good.
So far, so good.
Okay, the other thing is I like to go into my course navigation. I'm going to minimize you guys a minute. And here in my course navigation is where you can set up the order that they're going to see things, right? And it's up to you the way that you set this up. I usually
have a quick question just before you get too deep into the next tip.
Okay.
For the last tip, why not just embed rather than go through media and embed?
Because if you go through embed, it doesn't always bring the links over and make them interactive. I have found that when you just do embed instead of media embed, it does not always bring the links over and make it interactive. Sometimes it's a shoot, sometimes it will, sometimes it won't.
And she said, okay, nice.
Yeah. I believe me, I've played with it. I did a training with teachers and they kept trying to do it without the embed media and we couldn't get theirs to work. But I have found that if you do it as an embed media, it always works for some reason. So it picks it up as it picks the Google Slides up because it's published to the web as a media. I know Canvas is a little weird on some things, honestly. So this is where I like to set this up a lot of times in the order that I like them to go through it. So if I know that assignments are one of the top things I like them to do and discussions, then I will set this up in the order that I like them to go through it. So that is one of my other items that I will do. Now, here's one of my other things. Anybody ever have a problem getting in to find when you upload your items to Canvas and then you go to link to it and you're like, okay, where is it? Like, it's hard to find things, right? Well, I like to go into my files, and in my files, come on. Oh, I didn't upload anything for this one. You can go in here and you can, and I'm a big one on organization. So if I have different modules or different sections, I will make a folder for each one of those. So here I'm going to do, let me see, for this group, they're going to be doing emergency procedures, right? And then I have another group that they're going to be doing, let me think what else we're going to be doing. Right? And then when you upload, so when you click the button here and you save these, if I click the folder, then when I upload, or I'm just going to drag and drop something in here. All right. My Windows handouts. So if I drag my Cubby assignment in here, now that is directly in that folder. So now when I go to find it, to link it in my, let me go back to my home, because that's the only place I have a page right now. And I'm going to go to edit. So if I want to go to files and I want to link this, I click, I go to files, I can click emergency procedures, and there it is right there. And it's quick and easy. I knew exactly where to find it. And then when I hit the save button, it's there. And I like to, like I said, I'm an organization person, and by keeping it organized that way, and I will do the same with my pictures. If you see here, when I went back to here and I went to edit, you can do the same thing in your picture file. Here for images, you can do here and upload a new image. I do the same thing. I like to keep everything neat and organized. So then that way also when you move things over, or when you're in other courses, if you have things that you use in multiple courses, you can still find them easy, because when I go to, oh, let me save this before I forget. Wait a minute. Is sometimes in middle school and high school, you may teach, you know, algebra or 4 courses of, you know, 4 courses of programming, but they're, you know, period 1, period 4, period 5, right? If I go into here, let me go into this one, edit. Oh, hold on, don't be a pest. Now when I go into edit and I go to files, this shows me my course files for here, right? But you can always go back and copy over your files from your other course in if you need them. So it makes it easy too to move things over. And this holds on to, you know, with holding the items in here, it makes them easy to bring things over. And the organization, like I said, it organizes them nice and easy. Now, the other thing that the big question that everybody likes to ask is pages versus modules, right? It's 6 of one, half dozen of another, right? So, I mean, I work in modules because I mean, obviously, you know, programming, it does kind of work in modules. But I also teach like Microsoft Office, and I actually have classes that are 16 weeks of like Word or 16 weeks of Excel, but I still work in modules with that. And I will do the module, but then like the programming class, I will do the individual pages and keep them going in a certain order. So then that way the students have to follow the order that I set. And then I do the discussions because, you know, we have to, right? So I like to do something with our discussion so that they have to, you know, give some interaction. And then the other thing that is always fun for the students is if you bring in like the Flipgrids or the Wii videos, you know, the different things for them to interact with one another, always makes this fun for the students. And the last thing that, believe it or not, that I have on this one is, you know that you can connect your Google and your Google and all to this, right? So if I go into here and I go to edit, I can link, when I go to link into my files, you can link your Google so that Google is automatically, and this one's not going to let me do it, is it? Of course not. Maybe it is. When I go to choose file, it'll let me do it, right? So you choose your file and it'll let you link your Google. Because this one's not connected to my school, it won't let me do it. But here you can also pick when you set up your files and your folders, now you can pick where you have them stored also. So that's another good reason why you would do your different folders, so that when you go to look for them also, you can pick them up. Now, you also have the view of, instead of looking at them from modules, your pages, you can see all pages. And it automatically sets them up in alphabetical order, which I like. So if you're sitting here and you're like, okay, I want to add another page to one of my modules, but you don't want to put it in a module yet, you can click here and you can add a new page, right? And then the commons, once again, you can go into the commons, you can get favorite pages from there, right? And then this integrates, they now have it where it integrates directly with Teams and your Google Hangouts, or Google Meet, sorry, Google Meet nowadays. Okay. Questions? And I don't use I'll be honest, I don't use the conferences because we use Teams as our.
We don't have any questions at this time.
No questions? Okay.
Nope. Just have people like agreeing with you and saying yes, and that's nice, but no questions. Oh, we have one just came up. When you say link to Google, do you mean your Google Drive?
Yes, you can link to your Google Drive. And let me see if I can get mine to link, because I didn't have issues doing this the other day. Now, for some reason, it wants to be a pain. When I go to link, nope, she's not going to link there. Wait a minute, she's being a pest. She was linking for me the other day. Nope, she's not going to do it for me today, is she? You can link it to your Google Drive, and a lot of your schools, if you notice over here on the left-hand side, they should have, if you're like a Google or a Microsoft school, they should have them linked here too, that you can pull them in. Because I'm not using the school one, mine's not letting me do it. Maybe if it should be able to let you link them directly, so that then when you go to your files it will automatically have it down here for you to pull from. Mine's not, why mine's not bringing it up for some reason. But like I've been using my Dropbox a lot. So mine will let me yank from my Dropbox. So here's my virtual locker again. Come on. Bringing her up. There she goes. That one in. But I know that over here, the districts do have them linked up here, and you can click on it in the links and it'll connect your Google Drive directly to your Canvas. I'm not getting mine to link up today. I was getting her the other day, she was working perfect, but today technology doesn't want to work on me today.
I think we all know how technology works when you.
Oh yeah, we all do. You know how that goes. Okay. And then you do know that you can see the course statistics. And the one thing with the course statistics that I always find interesting is that you can go in and you can see, you know, who's been where in the discussion posts and assignments and what your students have been doing. And this comes in super handy. Recently logged in, so you know who's been in and who hasn't. I know at our level, at the college level now, we use it to know for like financial aid. If they haven't been in the first week, people are like, wait a minute, where have they been? Okay. All right. Tips and tricks. That's what I have. Oh, wait a minute. I have one more. When you do your modules and you set them up, this one I didn't set up the way I'm going to tell you. See how this says sign up for Scratch and this says intro to Scratch? Normally, the way I tell you to do this, and I didn't do it, is this is module 1, right? So I set that as 1. Update. This one, because this is the first one in 1, I'm going to do 1.1. And then this one's going to be 1.2. I keep my modules in numerical order, and then I put my items 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4, so that then they're in, I know I'm very linear on some things. I believe it or not, I grew up in the medical field, and some things just kind of stick with you. And that's how I like to set mine up, so that my number is the first thing, so that it's number 1 is this is the topic number, and then the order that they're going to be in. And then it still shows when you go over here to your pages. Now notice it put them in numerical order. So it does numerical order first, then it'll do your alphabetical order. So now you're going to see all of your items first for your module 1 in your pages. It also makes it easier too when you go into page view to just see your page view.
We do have a question.
Yes.
People are loving this one. They're like, very clever, I'm loving it. Which LTI tool works very well with Canvas?
You know, Canvas is good question. Kind of, you know, there's no easy answer on that one, honestly, because everybody's using Canvas, so there's no which one works best. It's kind of a matter of which one can you adapt the best. You want the truth. Because I know, like I saw here, Seesaw, you know, PK to 2 is using Seesaw. And I know like Seesaw is big with the little ones, but I mean, it's all, you have to kind of adapt, truthfully. There's so many different things out there. You want the truth. And a lot of times it's you have to find your workarounds.
Okay, so do you want to open it up for questions at this point?
Yes, go for it.
Okay.
Questions.
So what we're going to do, everyone, is I'm putting the, because it's 1:45 Central Time, I'm putting in the evaluation like I promised. And Katie gave a suggestion. Some don't integrate well, like Flipgrid. Better for me to add the external link.
Yeah, Flipgrid is better as an external link. She is correct on that one.
So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to allow you to unmute yourselves at this time. You can throw your question in the chat, or you can unmute yourself and ask. And because we're all at various levels, I asked Ruth to give a little time at the end to do question and answer. So thank you for doing that, Ruth, because I know we're all at different levels. So we have one question in the chat, and then I'm going to open it up to unmuting. What drives she said, yes, there are many options, but what drives your decision on what to choose?
I rotate. And the reason why I rotate is I tried to mix it up with my students, because I do get some of the same students year after year, or course after course. So I'll rotate what I use. But the one thing I will tell my teachers is pick 2 or 3 things that you're going to use for the year. Just pick 2 or 3. Don't try and use, 5 or 6 or, a whole lot. Pick something that you're comfortable with. So then you stay comfortable with that. And then, over the summer, find something else that you work with that you become comfortable with. And that's how I use it. So then you're always integrating something new. You're keeping it different, but it's something that you're comfortable with, and it's different for the students. So like Flipgrid and, different things like that. Flipgrid, it doesn't matter. Like all levels are using it. Like I have a friend who has a nursing school using it. And then I've got, a business friend who's got her students using it. So, Flipgrid, I don't care. You can use that every year. That's an easy to use one. But then there's other things that, some use and some don't, Nearpod, Pear Deck, pick and choose and try and, I try to mix it up, honestly. And my go-to all the time is my OneNote. You want the truth.
Okay, and you're welcome to unmute yourselves to ask a question. Okay, I'm not seeing anyone unmute. Any more questions for the chat? Okay, Ruth, I think you just blinded them with tips and tricks. We did have a question from Katie. Students are struggling with Google submissions. Any tips?
No, Google submission. So they're doing their work in Google and you're trying to get them to submit it in Canvas. Are you doing the assignment set up as a external link? Is going to be my question. So when you go into your assignment and you set it up, you go down here.
She said yes.
And they're still having a hard time with it. Is it coming in, or that you having them do it as a file upload or a website URL? That would be one of my other questions.
Hi, Ruth. I'm not totally sure. I'm just supporting my teachers, and this is new to everyone. And these kiddos were previously doing Google Classroom, so of course that was more seamless. And now there's just these hiccups along the way, and it's difficult to know what the students are seeing on their side.
Gotcha. I would either have them do it as, if you're going to do the external tool, it's going to have them do it as, do it as a link, or do it as online, and then do it as either a website or a file. I would teach them to do it as a file upload, because then if they're doing it in Google Docs, then they can click here and they can do the upload directly from Google Docs in. Because that's where, in a way, that's how Google Classroom does it, because Google Classroom and Google Docs are seamless integration that way. The difference with this is they have to manually kind of do the upload. Or you could do it this way with no submission if the teacher wants to go, but I would do it as a file upload. Or, like I said, the website URL would be the other way. That's going to be probably your best bet on that one.
So we have a question in the chat. What is your suggestion for the best resource to learn more about Canvas that is easy and user-friendly and not too technical?
Honestly, I played with it. But I'll find you something, Karen, and I'll send it to Desiree. I'll find you something. I'll find a Canvas resource for you.
Or I would say, Karen, she's going to give her email address. You can email her directly. And okay. I do have a series on my distance learning page. I'm about to put the link that I did not produce or anything, but I asked for, like, I put out a call for Canvas help, and they sent me this 3 webinar that Google Global GEG did, and they it's 3 webinars about Canvas, and I put it on this site because I heard it was really, really good. So I want to share that with you. It's in the chat right now, and if you're watching this on YouTube, I will also put it in the description. Just scroll down on the web page and look for the LMS section. There's stuff on Schoology and Canvas, and this one will be on there too.
Karen, if you need to, Desiree, you have my email on the stuff from this, right? Because if you want, Karen, you can email me. Hold on, let me do this.
I do not. I just have your Twitter handle.
Okay. There you go. If you guys need assistance, you can give me an email. That's fine.
And what I'll do is I'll add her email to the Google Doc. Since I can edit the Google Doc, I'll add that on the Google Doc as well. Any other questions, party people?
And Karen, one of the first things I always tell people, because I did a training for a school a few weeks ago, and the first thing I told them is, before you even sit into Canvas, and they kind of looked at me strangely, but I tell everybody to sit down and plan it first. Like, know what it is that you're going to put in it. Are you going to do a series of assignments? Are you going to do a series of projects? Are you going to do, so then also that helps you know when you get in there what kind of organization you're going to need. And that's kind of how I do a lot of things. I'll sit down on paper and plan things first. And I find it helpful too. So then that way, when I get in here, I know that my setup is going to be welcome page for the module, and then it's going to be the discussion, it's going to be the information, it's going to be what order. And then I usually will template it. I'll set up one module that is the basic pages of what I want, and then copy it each time I want to make a new module, and then start putting information in it.
Okay, so I think, unless we have anyone hop on the mic or put a question in the chat, I think we are good to go. So first and foremost, please throw some love in the chat for Ruth. Thank you so much. She completely volunteered her time to give some tips and tricks, not the basics, not advanced, just some tips and tricks to help you along the way. And that's exactly what we were looking for, because there's so much out there for kind of the basics and things like that. So we just want some like just tips and tricks to help us out. So thank you so much, Ruth. She will get a copy of the chat, and she'll get a copy of the evaluation. So if you're wondering where the evaluation is, I'm going to post it again. It's number 1 on the list that I just posted. And when you fill out the evaluation, you get the certificate. So Ruth, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.